Yay!
Howdy! Welcome, everybody.
Yes, this is Tall Tale, Short Tale, the show where we take the tall tales and we shorten them up, make them short.
Short people.
Oh, yeah.
Limits with the boring details around here.
Bella, speaking of boring details, how has your week been?
Nora, my week has been full of details.
Oh, drop me 3 details.
Okay, here's one detail. I went to work every day, Monday to Friday. Here's another detail. I got vaccinated today at Gillette Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Patriots chick. Third fact, it is one of my best friend's birthdays. Tomorrow, birthday party celebration tonight. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bella's friend.
Happy birthday.
Whose birthday it is?
Billy.
Billy, happy birthday.
Yep, that's him. So, Nora, just to launch right into it, birthdays got me thinking about presents. Have you ever given a gift or received a gift that you both grow to resent over time and it just festers into something much worse?
I have received a gift that was immediately resented by the other party and immediately loved by me.
That's kind of similar to what I'm about to say.
Okay, can I say my thing really quick, though? Can I be on the topic?
I wish that you would.
Okay, this one time, my ex-boyfriend's mom posted like these weird baby doll headlamps on Facebook. And as a joke, I commented, LOL, I want one. And so she sent me one. And then my ex was like, I can't believe that you tricked my mom into sending you a gift. And I was like, I didn't trick her. She just fucking sent me a gift, man. That's the whole story. And then the lamp lived in my car for about a year. And I don't know where it is anymore. My car just ate it. That's the end of the story. I'm sorry.
You had me until a lamp in a car.
What?
You had me until a lamp was inside a car. I've never used a lamp in a car.
Oh, I didn't use it. It just sat in my trunk because I didn't know what to do with it for like a year.
Oh, like an ominous lantern. Maybe it would come to life with a flame if you needed it in a crisis.
Oh, yeah. Or I could use it as a vessel to summon some kind of demon.
I think that might work with the baby head thing. Now that you mentioned it, the baby head might have
might have something to do with it. What gift were you thinking of bringing up?
Oh, well, it's hard to forget this gift because the problem with what I have is that it's massive. So, happy 2-year birthday, I think. My giant alpaca, Alfie, which I got my girlfriend
and Billy.
But mostly I got it because people, the control that comes with buying something ginormous.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason I want to introduce Alfie to you guys today is that he normally just wears this little ascot, but today he's rocking 2MB merch.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
This sweatshirt and many more designs are available that support this station studio channel.
I love this station studio channel.
And it allows us to do the very vital work of chopping down these stories.
Exactly.
I mean, they're running wild out there. So, yeah. So, Alfie just wanted to show you guys, how chic, sexy, sophisticated you can look.
Now, do we have a theme for this week's show? Or are we just, freewheeling it?
1, 2, 3, you're out. I mean, we've got a couple themes. We have our inspirational word, strike, which our storytellers may have chosen to be inspired by. But this is also the showrunners edition. I'm in my sweatshirt, feeling comfortable. Everyone here tonight on the show is also the host or showrunner of a different show on 2MB Studios.
So it's really like a two-pronged theme show. We have 2 themes, we have too much bread, and those tales are just too damn tall.
Yeah, one theme and organization we're involved with. Another theme, striking.
Striking, which could be a word for organization, or it could a word that in terms of strike, like a verb, like the thing that our nation likes to do to other countries that are in the Middle East. Topical, airstrike. Whoa.
I see you, nation. We're all looking right at you into our
Joe Biden watches this show and he takes our advice.
Not to mention, strike can be in a theater setting when you take down the sets after the show, something we don't have to do anymore. I'll be striking these trees later, but I just had to get in the headspace of Tall Tale,
Of course, I can smell the pine from here.
Oh, that's actually a candle. I wanted to get the fire thing going on too.
Oh wow, you really got some ambiance going.
Absolutely.
Nice. Well, since we are talking about striking, I would like to give a little sample tale if I may, if that's okay with the crowd. So when I was in about, I think 4th grade, I want to say, I just went on a homework strike. And I just did not do my homework for a full year. But then we did a project in class where the whole class was going to write one poem, and then we were all going to contribute a poem, and they were going to bind it they were going to laminate it and give a copy of the class's poetry book to everybody. And I was like, that's a pretty cool project. I want to be involved in that, but I don't want to, invalidate my strike. So what I did, violate my strike is what I meant to say. So what I did is I found an old, funny poem that my mom had written, and I just changed a couple of the words, and I submitted that as my poem. And after we did our poetry reading, all the parents were coming up to my mom and me and being like, wow, that poem was just amazing. I can't believe you, an 8-year-old, wrote that. That was amazing. And my mom she was pissed. And I was like, but I changed a couple of the words. It doesn't count as plagiarism. So that is the story of my homework strike. The end.
Yes, a legal thriller with strikes, with parody law, with plagiarism.
Thank you. All the elements any good story should have.
Absolutely. But let's get them down to the elements. I'm talking fire, air, earth, wind, plastic, rubber.
Those are the 7 elements right there.
Those are the 7 things.
Wind, plastic, and rubber are the 3 more important ones.
Absolutely. And with an emphasis on the number 7, I want to give you, Nora,
Whoa.
7 seconds to
It
think
is
about what
amazing.
you really care about in that story.
It was amazing that you did that. Okay, I'm ready for this. And go. When I was 8, I didn't do any of my homework, and so I decided to plagiarize something my mom wrote, and I got a good grade on it. So, yeah, that's the best we can do.
An academic success story for the books.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of success, should we bring up our first storyteller of the evening?
Absolutely. The showrunner of a hugely successful
Huge.
2MB show that is premiering on Thursday, March 11th at 8.
Oh, yeah.
Coming back for a new season. Some new wrestlers are going to be added to the roster of Quarantine and Action Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Please welcome to the screen, Mr. David Thomas.
Ooh, speaking of success, what a segue.
Oh, yeah.
We do write letters of recommendation. There is a price.
Good to know. I'll Venmo you. Thank you.
David, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's genuinely very nice to see you both. It really is. Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm good. It's been a good weekend, so excited to do your show.
Oh yeah. So have you prepared a story about some sort of strike for us?
I have. I would say it's a real A to B to Z interpretation of strike, but it is inspired.
Take us to Z.
Take us there.
Let's go to Z. So yeah, so I used to be terrified of flying. I had a whole thing with like heights, and like the fact that I didn't know how a plane worked really freaked me out. Because I just always thought that like we'd like get up in the air and then the pilot would come on and be like, everything's failing. Like I just thought it was going to come any second. So my problem, and also the way to solve this problem, which was my way to solve most of my problems, was to get drunk before going on the plane. So I often would get drunk before I got on a flight because I would either get tired on the flight and I would fall asleep, or I would just be gregarious and it would be fun. And it worked mostly. I would usually sleep. I got a date once from going on a plane. But anyways, that's not this time. But I got on and it was on JetBlue, and I get on and I'm already like, I'm not like out there, but I'm drunk. And I sit down and my seat next to me is a woman with her infant baby in her lap. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like immediately, like she has this child next to this booze hound. And but like, whatever, like I'm very nice. I'm just like, oh, business or pleasure, or like whatever. But I still would be very nervous on flights in general. And on this one in particular, we get up and we're cruising at however many thousand feet. And the stewardess, at one point, like I remember in the cabin, there was like a phone at the front of the cabin, and it starts ringing. And the stewardess goes up and she answers it. And I'm already nervous because I think that's the pilot telling her, like, we forgot the engine. Like, we're going down. But I see it. I'm like, whatever. Like, you got to calm down. And she grabs the phone, talks for like a second, bursts into hysterical tears. And I'm like, and like I turn, I'm like, is everybody else seeing this? And this woman, I'm not exaggerating, she could barely keep it together. Like she is like dry heaving, like, oh, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like everybody else, everybody can see her. She's at the front of the cabin. And so we're like, what the fuck did the pilot just tell you? Because we don't know what these phones are. We just assume it's the pilot being like, answer the phone instead of coming up to the cockpit. And so we're like, what? And then she just starts doing the drink cart, and like she's going out, and you can tell she's barely holding it together. And like I turn and like I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and we're just like whispering, like, what is this? And she comes up to me eventually, and she's like, would you like soda, juice, water? And I was like, I'll have a water. Are you okay? Like, what is happening? Are you all right? And she's like, and just like gives me the water and just ignores what I said. And she keeps going. And I'm like, I did nothing to like solve it. And I turn and like, I just immediately start thinking like, what if this plane goes down? and like I'm gonna be drunk when I die. That was not the plan. And like the woman next to me has her infant daughter in her lap, and I'm like, we need to do something, but like I couldn't. And everybody's just freaking out. And eventually she does the whole drink order. She brings the cart back up to the front, and then the pilot comes on and he's like, hey, we're cruising and we're doing good. We'll land in about an hour. And then we just land and nothing happened. And I don't understand why. And so I put in a thing to JetBlue, and I was like, hey, the stewardess flipped out on the flight. On this flight. We all thought we were going to die. What was up? And they just responded, oh, yeah, we don't know anything about that. Here's a voucher for a free flight.
Oh.
And yeah, and there's no real ending to this, which I apologize for. But like, it's insane. I have no clue because like, I don't know if a stewardess, like flight attendants can receive calls from like family members. Like, what if this person's spouse was like, I know she's flying right now, but I gotta end this. And just like calls the dumper like we're through, like before she lands in DC. But also I feel like something happened because JetBlue just gave me a free flight like $300 out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the fuck happened that JetBlue's trying to cover up? And I don't know if we barely managed to avoid like a Denzel Washington in flight scenario, except I was the one who was drunk. So either way, that's why I probably should strike on JetBlue, but I didn't.
Tied it in the end.
Yeah.
Good job.
Snuck it in there.
I want to know this poor lady. I hope she's okay.
I hope so too, honestly. Like it was like part of me, like I was really concerned, but also like I probably could have been nicer about it, but also I was like, we all think we're about to die.
Yeah.
Like, can somebody explain what's happening here? But
maybe she like found out, called her, and they were like, you're fired. And then she was like, I'm going to bravely carry out the rest of my shift as is my duty as a stewardess.
Whatever she was given, she was.
Talon says, I bet the pilot broke up with her. That's a theory.
If that's what happened, this woman is a fucking champ because she held it and she just. I think I just used it for another time to go home from Boston or something. But like, yeah, she powered through, and because you can tell whatever the hell those news were, like
yeah, like what guy is like dialing like 8888 to like reach the skies to be like relationship check-in, like even if you're gonna be broken up with on the phone, like why would that be it? I mean, but that was my first thought, was like a cheating situation. Like
I just imagined like at that exact moment in some apartment, some dude is sitting there with the lights off, and he's just like. I can't take another minute of this.
I can't love a lady of the skies. I need an Earth girl.
411, please connect me to the sky.
And it's kind of like, yeah, it's her business, but it's like if you're in like third grade and your teacher's like weeping, like, yeah, that's your business, but like, why are you crying, Mrs. Flight Attendant?
The last time a teacher was crying and I was like, what happened? She was like, it's 9/11. So like, I really didn't know what the hell this was going to be.
Not a good sign on a plane, is it?
No, it's not at all.
I think we just found the root of your trauma. Forget cutting down your story. We cut down your dynamic of the situation.
You all did me a service. Thank you.
We'll be billing.
Speaking of trauma, I think we can all agree that the amount of details in that last story caused a lasting traumatic effect on all of us.
Yeah, I feel like I was there in a bad way.
So, Dave, would you mind picking a number between 1 and 4 for us, please?
Certainly. I'll go with 2.
Oh, you lucked out. You have
tango.
Exactly 5 seconds to tell us that entire story.
Okay, I can do that.
5 seconds, please.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll go 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Got drunk before flight. Lady on flight attendant crying a bunch. Baby survived.
That was great. Thank you.
That baby was like the baby on the Titanic. That was like a 100-year-old woman. They're like, she survived, but she was only 8 months old at the time. That baby, like, I saw that flight attendant cry at an impactful stage of my development.
That baby really learned a lesson in composure, I
Truly.
think. So,
Dave, do you have anything you'd like to plug before you head on out?
yeah, like you said, Quarantine Action Wrestling is back with a new season starting on Thursday at 8. We're on every Thursday at 8. We have a bunch of debuts coming up. Perhaps some faces you've seen before, perhaps some that you haven't. But also, of course, right here in Tooby. And this Friday at 6:30 p.m. is Level Down. I play video games with Ryan Dowling and Sumit Saran. And every Friday at 10:30, I co-host The Rehash with Tooky Kavanagh, who is also on later tonight. Obviously, Oh, did I spoil something? Sorry.
You're not advertising for it or anything.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. Okay, but just 2MB. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram and all that right there, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you so much, David. It was great to have you on tonight.
Oh, yeah. Bella, what if you were a wrestler? What would your wrestling name be?
Oh, if I were on the Quarantine Action Wrestling roster starting March 18th, so not this Thursday, but the next one, I might be a wrestler named Zaza Harvest. Hi from Hawaii. Oh, Zaza has probably been to Hawaii. She's a mommy blogger. She's on a homesteading journey, and she's not afraid to stomp you on her way to the harvest.
Everyone can't wait to see her stomp some people.
Keep a lookout on the 18th, but the league comes back on the 11th, so you can catch up with all those wrestlers we've been following.
Oh, no. Someone figured it out. Yes, that was the guy who kept suggesting ass on the sex show last night. Dave has a bit of a reputation for suggesting the word ass, but can you blame him? It's a great word and a great thing.
We always go back and forth about whether that word should be our inspiration every week. But I will say the line game discourse is frankly, they want to explore things in improv. Here, we want to dilute things. We want to put them through that cheesecloth and twist.
That's the exact metaphor I was going to use.
That's what I was thinking too. And speaking of people who twist down that news, get talking, it's right there. It's not tonight, but it is left night. We have the host here to tell a story.
What? Please welcome to your screens, Kendra Dawsey.
Hi, everyone. What's up? How's it going?
Hey, it's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is fun.
Thank you for being here. How is your week? How's life?
It's fine. All days feel the same. There is very little difference in each of my days. I am on season 5 of Teen Mom 2.
Ooh.
So that's how my quarantine has been going.
I dig the pregnancy shows. I liked Teen Mom Young and Pregnant on MTV also. That was a good one.
A redundant title.
Teen Mom Young and because it wasn't like 16-year-olds. It was like 18 to 21-year-olds kind of. It was a little bit giving them a little bit more of a shot.
Yeah, but I do love that show for some reason. I'm just like, wow, I made none of these life choices, and I'm doing okay. I did not have a kid when I was 18, and I'm okay.
It's like, so that's what it would have been, or they could have had this. Totally.
Yeah.
Kendra, do you
imagine them on like a storytelling show on Twitch?
Yeah, with just like a kid shouting in the background.
Oh, that's a nightmare. Do you have a story about a strike you'd like to share?
I do have a story about a strike. Or like a strike related activities, let's say. So obviously I host a show called Left Night. That is not a mistake. That is called Left Night. It is supposed to be a like leftist Marxist show. I am pro strike. If you want to strike, go do it. I don't even know who you are. Like if you want to strike, just go ahead. But all of these things, even though I do love strikes, I myself have yet to participate in an organized workforce strike myself because I am a loser and a fraud. Also, I work in the nonprofit sector, and like it's hard to strike there because it's like, oh, we're striking so that kids can't be in guard. I don't know. I mean, if anyone does want to plan a strike, and if you're my coworker watching this, I don't know, hit me up. But also don't tell my boss. So when I thought of the word strike, I actually thought of, it took me back to my high school days. Because the closest thing I've done to a strike was a theater strike. So like basically you just like take down the set after a show. I was a huge theater nerd. If you have met me in person for more than 5 minutes, you could probably be like, yeah, Kendra was a fucking theater kid. That's why they're so goddamn annoying. But I was a theater kid in high school. I did like, like at least 10 or so plays. I like auditioned for all the plays at my high school. And I really liked it. It was like a source of community for me in the beginning. And then I had depression, and then I was upset. But we took down the set. And one thing that usually happened after a show at my high school, a like theater show, is that there was an after party where we did what was called marriages, which is basically you like called up to, it wasn't real marriages. There was no child weddings. You basically called up two people who like either had like sexual tension or like whatever during the run of the show, during rehearsals and stuff. And you call them up, and then like they're supposed to kiss in front of everyone. Right. So, which like I thought was fun. Like I didn't get any action in high school. So like sometimes like the only action I would have gotten was being called up for a marriage and like make out with someone. But there was one year where I was like, me and my like friends were kind of like, we're tired of like doing this. We're going to have our own party. So I threw like an alternate party, which I guess like does take some organizing skills. It just happened at my apartment. Or not apartment, my house. I was like 16. I didn't have rent. Happened at my parents' house. It was just like, you know, the people I liked in who were part of the play, and we watched movies and ate chips together. There was no alcohol. Usually at the like marriages parties, like some people had alcohol, but they like kept it to themselves. And like there was like once where someone was so drunk that they like puked in the toilet and had to eat bread. And I was like, where is the green apple flavored Smirnoff? Okay. Where is it? I want it to, even though the most alcohol I had probably had was like a bottle of vermouth that was in my parents' like cabinet that was mostly untouched. And I mixed it with orange juice, which tastes disgusting. But you know, when you are 16, things are hard. But one memory I had from high school that is a little bit of a memory that does involve some organizing when I think about it is sophomore year. We had a math teacher. I won't say her name because actually I like forgot it. We had a math teacher that no one really liked. And it wasn't like she was mean. She was just like out of touch. You know, like that person in a group where they try to like connect with people, but they like for some reason can't do it right. And it's like nothing personal against them. That was like this person, except like a 40-year-old math teacher, right? And she was trying to connect with all of these bored, irritated, like 15-year-old students in this advanced placement, or not, it wasn't AP, but it was like honors math class, right? So she gave us a lot of homework. No one liked it. Everyone was like upset. So one day, I don't know where I got this idea, but one day I was like, oh, what if we all just meowed at the same time during her math class? I don't know why I chose meowing. I just don't know. But I was like, okay, let's plan this, right? So the math class that I was in, it was the very last period of the day. And I had started planning this, like, I don't know, in the morning. But all of the kids, or like a lot of the students had like a similar schedule to me, because I was in the smart kid classes. Again, another reason why I'm insufferable now. So like first period, I was like, hey, like there's like a few students like, hey, Andrew, hey, Ramon, I have an idea. Let's meow at this time. certain time during math class today just to like see what happens. And they were like, okay, sure. And I was like, yeah, we're going to stick it to her by randomly meowing during her class. And I was like, yeah. And I did this throughout the day. Whenever I saw, I was like, yeah, tell this person, because I don't see them before this period, but like they want to be on the plan. I really try to like spread things around. I told like my best friends who were also in that class. So 8th period comes. I forgot exactly what time it was. It was like 1:38. I don't know. And I was like, okay, I was like excited. I was looking at the clock. I was like, all right, this is the time to meow. 8:30 comes, or like 1:38 comes. I start meowing, and a few other people did, but it wasn't as many as I asked to. So I was like kind of upset. I just started meowing in class, and I think maybe 2 or 3 other people did or something. And then the teacher looks at me and was just like, Kendra, that's not appropriate. And I was like, okay. So that was the first time I tried organizing, and it like barely worked. So this is why I try to support workers' movements from the outside, because I feel like if I actually organize, people would not join the cause, right? Like I feel like me organizing will actually push people away. Obviously, I need to work on that. But like if you have a strike, I support you. I will not go to wherever you work. Whatever you need, I support you. And that is my story.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I, for one, would, if you organized a strike at your work, I would gladly show up and participate, even if
thank you.
I don't work there, but I would be happy to support.
Yeah, as someone said in the comments, Amazon boycott starts tomorrow.
Yes.
I do. Yeah. Also, like, don't buy from Amazon. Yeah, and we're on Amazon, but the boycott starts tomorrow. I maybe they'll like cancel our show if we say that. I don't know.
That's okay.
Watch us on YouTube starting tomorrow. Just pick your partner. But especially hearing like Nora's story earlier tonight about the homework strike and just some Nora kids stories we've heard in the past too. I feel like we are a tight alliance of child rebellers.
Oh, absolutely.
Plenty of those
children.
Absolutely. Like I remember like when they tried to ban iced coffee at my high school, it culminated in them all like I want to say VP, you know what I mean? Like a vice principal, assistant principal, discipline people in a line at the gate of the school with trash cans. And when you would walk by, they wanted you to dump it out. And people still got more iced coffee in somehow. And the people
That's insane. In Massachusetts?
Yeah, I was about to say.
This was an undisclosed public school in Massachusetts, which I would never talk about online. No.
Iced coffee is the state drink.
Yeah.
I've had workplaces that have tried to ban it too, but I think this is the kind of thing we need to get Kendra's organizing mind behind. Like we need to get moving on this type of thing.
Yeah. Why would they ban iced coffee though?
It doesn't make sense. Like bread and circus, right? Like the people need their iced coffees on their desks. But I guess it was, considered some sort of distraction.
Damn.
God, the things that people think high schoolers are distracted by. It's like
absolutely. Like high schoolers, like you said, 16-year-olds are looking for like that Rubinoff, that Smirnoff, with the Poland Spring label. They want that local packaging.
Kendra, that was a really great story. I think we all had a good time, but I think we would all benefit from shortening it the hell up.
Okay.
So
for organizing purposes.
For organizing purposes, yeah. Could you please pick a number between 1 and 4 that is not 2?
3.
All right. You have 16 seconds to tell that story.
Okay.
We get 16 seconds on the clock, please, Matt.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. I was a huge nerd in high school. I tried to get people to meow in my math teacher's class because no one liked her. And I tried it, and not everyone meowed. Also, I made out with people after a theater show mandatorily illy.
Kendra, before you go, I just want to ask, what was your favorite? Did you do musicals or plays?
I did do some musicals, even though my singing voice is like atrocious.
Oh, I feel you. I did
musical. That's the whole point.
What was your favorite musical that you did in high school? Or college, super theater kid.
I wasn't in Little Shop of Horrors, I don't think. I was in Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
Yeah, probably that one. I wasn't that good at singing. What other ones did I need to look at like my like high school resume or something. So.
Yes, we'll call you up when we have our musical edition of storytelling.
Oh, Kat.
And the Beast movie makes an appearance.
Not getting enough attention, so this is
every cat has a story to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kendra, and we're so glad to have you on tonight. Do you have any plugs or want to let us know more about when we can see Left Night?
Yeah. So you can see Left Night at this very channel, 7:30 Thursdays, 7:30. It's me and Zach, and we talk about communist shit. I also am on a podcast called Not Another White Man's Podcast. There are no white men on this podcast. It is me and 3 women of color. We talk about sad things, but sometimes it's kind of funny. And that's wherever podcasts are available. I also have a website. Oh, this is my Twitter account if you want to follow me. I'm usually funny there. I mostly do a lot of like weird, horny, or like ADD posting. So,
and it's all very good. Highly recommend.
Thank you. You can see some of Kendra's tweets on also our Instagram, Tall Tail Short. Drop tail. Tall Tail Short. You can see some of Kendra's tweets there.
Oh yeah. Kendra, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful night. Oh my gosh.
I'm so rejuvenated by that story of the bizarre theater kid ritual. That gave me some kind of life force. I think I might have made like a devil deal at a Bickford's diner one time.
Oh, you were Bickford's? They kept burning down. There were like 3 Bickford locations that burned down in Massachusetts.
Is that true?
Yeah, man. The one I always used to go to burned down. I don't remember where it was.
Dang. It's like a brick oven pizza. I don't know why I think it's brick, but I do.
They were usually brick buildings, I feel like. But I would always get pancakes because they serve pancakes all day.
Yeah, people in my theater program like totally drank alcohol, but they didn't really do sexy stuff at Bickford's. It would be like, I dare you to do a shot of maple syrup.
Yeah.
We'd be like talking in anticipation of that.
I went to a cast party once where we dared this freshman to shotgun a mini can of Sprite. And she did it because we didn't have any alcohol. So she just chugged this can of Sprite. We were like, yeah.
Oh, I won't tell Michelle Obama. Probably first lady at the time. No soda. Well,
speaking of ladies.
Speak more.
Let's bring up an amazing lady who's actually one of like if not the matriarch of this channel. Please welcome Rachel Jane Andelman.
Hey everyone. Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, Rachel. Keep it together in the comments, folks. We know Rachel's usually a big presence.
Oh yeah.
Chat alive. So it's on you, kiddos.
Yeah, feel free to post emojis that are of ambiguous meaning so that I feel even more anxiety than I usually do. What does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Just pictures.
Tiny pictures all together.
I love to say that there's somebody like really mean. There's at least one really mean person in the chat. So if someone can ban that, cool.
Please don't post. We're not posting anything sexual or inappropriate in the chat. Let's keep that to ourselves, please.
Fruit snack.
Thank you.
I don't think it's organic.
That's
0%
not what the show's
juice
for, people. The show is for fucking tall tales and short tales.
Absolutely. And we will focus on people that have don't have juice because Rachel absolutely has it. Doing Joy of Posting, a show on 2MB, as well as, like Nora alluded to, I'm sorry, I keep refocusing. Like Nora alluded to, just producing the crap out of these shows.
Oh, yeah.
How is that all going, Rachel?
It's going. It helps that I'm still on unemployment, so I can devote an amount of time to this that feels productive. If I ever had to do this and like also a full-time job, then I might get a little bit dicey.
I
Well,
absolutely
you're
support the subsidizing.
You're doing a professional ass job running this channel. I was talking to one of my friends who like, she's just started Twitch streaming like recently. And I was like, oh yeah, I do this show on this channel on Twitch. She goes, oh, what's it called? And I was like, it's called 2MB Studios. And she was like, oh my God, I already subscribed. And she's like not involved in comedy at all.
Wow.
I know she found it. So we're reaching people who work in the news. So
Nice.
that's yeah.
Now all we have to do is like get on the news. But for like one of those good things, they keep for the very last 2 minutes. You're like fire, murder, and also this charming level Twitch show.
I think we need people that are working in like magazines because we're all about like old stories that might have been a little long time ago or a long time ago. We need someone that wants to report on news that is perhaps already known.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have some great 2008 content coming at you right now.
Let's hear it.
Obama on the left, McCain on the right. Take it away, Rachel.
So before I start my story, I'll preface it by these 2 points. Point A is that of all the comedic genres, I find storytelling actually the hardest. And it also makes me the most nervous because I don't really perceive events as a series of interrelated products and consequences. For me, like the world is much more chaotic than that. So my stories are just much more like a string of anecdotes that hopefully through the power of charisma, I can trick people into believing is a story with rising and falling action, even though we know that that's an illusion. So that's 1.1. Point 2 is a couple of details from the story may fall under technically an NDA that I signed. The reason I'm going forward is because the show to which this NDA pertains is, first of all, about 12 years old and also no longer exists. That said, if a Comedy Central lawyer wants to sue me and my family for statements I made pertaining to a show that is no longer on the air, my body is ready. It wouldn't even be the 5th weirdest thing that's happened to me in the past year. Let's get sued. So I have a story for the next one. So when I heard the word strike, I spent 3 days sort of rifling my brain going, what does this mean to me? Until I remember that I have a very specific story regarding strikes, which is that I was an intern on the Colbert Report during the writer's strike in 2008. I was like, right, oh my God, I can't believe that slipped my mind. That should have been top of mind.
That's so funny.
I no longer recall that was true about me. Those who remember the writer's strike, there was a joke on Twitter that's like, if you ever watch a show and it starts having really bad episodes, it's probably because it was during the strike. And I'm sure, I don't know if the same is true for the Colbert Report. I haven't gone back to watch those episodes, but I do remember doing the internship for the Colbert Report. I was having a nervous breakdown in my advisor's office. I was a junior in college, having a very normal breakdown because I was very sane and mentally well during college. And I got the phone call from the Colbert Report people saying, we know that we had rejected your application. You'd already received this rejection email. However, someone did drop out of the intern program, and would you like to get on? So that's how I became an intern on the Colbert Report. They rejected me first, and then they accepted me because I was available. And I think that it became clear that I would be interning during the writer's strike because it was clear going into December that they had not come into any terms. And I was feeling nervous and weird about it. I'm like, should I even do it? And my friend told me, you should do it, you idiot, because if you don't do it, the only person you're hurting is yourself and you're not helping anything. And no one will recognize your sacrifice. There will be no statue to you in the Times Square. Don't be silly. Just do the fucking thing, which I did. And I did it. And I remember the first day that I did it, all the interns were like, gathered in the conference room, and Stephen Colbert came out, and he looked at us. We were all like lined up like we were at a firing squad. And he said, and I remember what he said in like the driest possible voice, look at all the little union busters. And that's what he said to us. And I remember I was feeling so weird and bad. It was like he was like, and I was like, I remember my like head falling down. Like I felt so weird and bad. And it was like a crazy weird time. Everyone was kind of like jangly and nervous and anxious because we were going back on TV and we didn't have. I keep saying we like I belong to it, but I guess I did. We were going back on TV without any writers, and everyone was like, "What the fuck does that look like?" And basically, I think it's probably clear if you watch those episodes now that we weren't allowed to write, like writing was verboten, but they were allowed to riff. So we would be like, okay, here's like an idea, and Colbert's just gonna improvise off of it. He's a, a trained improviser. That's something he can do. So what happened is you would get these very funny, weird assignments going like, Colbert has this idea that he's going to riff about how the all of Obama's supporters are hippies. So we need you, the interns, to look through this Obama footage and find people behind him with beards. And that's what we did. He's just going to riff on that for like 3 to 5 minutes, and that would be kind of the kind of thing we did to. Sorry, I'm hearing myself now. But anyway, that's what the strike was like, and it lasted kind of a month into the internship, and then it ended. It ended, and you have no context when you go into a situation. You're like, is it always this way? But you could feel like the whole building like let out the sigh of relief when the writer's strike ended. We were all like, we're going back to normal. The writers are here. It feels better now. It felt like normal had returned, even though it felt like normalcy had returned, even though I didn't know what normal was. It felt better. And I remember, and this is one of those parts of the story where you're like, this does not look good for me. But I remember we were having this like welcome back writers party at a bar where we were meeting the writers for the first time. The interns were, and I remember I was talking to a writer who ended up being my favorite writer there. His name was Glenn, and he was talking about how he was like complaining about how he had to stand in the picket lines all day. And I was very insane at the time. So the first thing that I said, like that spilled out of my face was, yeah, you look really weather beaten. And then we just kind of stared at each other for like 3 seconds. And then we both just burst out laughing. And I was like, oh my God, thank God he thought it was funny. Because back then I didn't really have like a sense of when I was joking and when I wasn't. I was just sort of vaguely inappropriate all the time and trying to, you know what I mean? I didn't really have a total control of my powers yet. So I was just thinking, oh my God, thank God he thought it was clever. He was charming. Yeah, that was our welcoming back party for the writers. I ended up shadowing that writer. He's really awesome. I'm sure I was a nervous wreck the entire time there. I'm still a nervous wreck, obviously, but there was even more explicit. And that's my story.
That was awesome. I didn't realize that you worked on that show. That's so fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's something I don't like to drop because it feels like I'm bragging, but it's just like a weird thing. It's like a weird thing. Especially like in retrospect, I feel like the Colbert Report feels like an aberration among like late night shows. Like it didn't like spawn other late night shows that are necessarily held in the same regard. It really did feel like one of a kind of show. So I was happy to be part of it. It was really cool.
That is so cool. And I love that the internship was like what you would imagine, you know, just like lined up like the Romanovs and told to find videos of guys with beards. Like I went nuts for those Daily Show, Colbert Report, like clips they would play about the news. And it's super cool to think about you like hacking away at that content.
They had these big binders full of discs. I'm sure it's different now, but back then you're like, oh, you got to go to the basement to get our big binder full of discs. That's just Tucker Carlson from May to September 2003.
Born in the wrong generation. I want to retrieve clips from a basement.
It's very analog. Yeah.
Rachel, much like you once scrubbed through so much video trying to pick out the most important parts of the video, do you think you could scrub through that story and pick out all the parts with beards for us?
Absolutely.
Could you please pick a number that is either 1 or 4?
4.
You have 9 freaking seconds to tell us about the writer's strike.
Okay. I got the internship, strike, Colbert, hats, beards, weather beaten.
Awesome. I'm so glad weather beaten made it into the shorter version. It's a great word.
I think so.
Rachel, do you have anything you would like to plug before you leave us?
Yeah, absolutely. I host a show called The Joy of Posting every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I write jokes for an hour, and then that's it. Sort of a joy of painting, but posting it's the joke there. You guys get it. I also produce the channel as a whole. So a lot of times, if you're watching a show with booked guests, I book them a lot of the time. So, what?
I said you booked us on this show.
Yeah, I booked you guys. I was like, come on over.
You saved Bella and me from organizing an outdoor show during a pandemic. So thank you.
Yeah, it was really more of a service to the public than to us as artists. It was a compliment to Rachel's care for the public.
Yeah, I saw
that allowing us to become a super spreader event.
I saw the post and I'm like, I bet they would rather do this.
It's like identify the need, fulfill, and problem solved.
Oh yeah.
Well, if anyone knows Rachel's Twitter and just general internet presence, you know that seeing her work out the jokes that she writes is totally worth watching. It's super interesting. I always think about like these different ideas. Like I've read Rachel present about like how to come up with tweets and jokes. So definitely check out Joy of Posting and Rachel's Twitter if you're not familiar.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much, Rachel. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye. Oh man. I'm so glad that I'm past the point of my life where I have to intern for people.
I'm not. I want to go back. I love being an intern. I thrive on the unpaid labor because it's like when you do something for free, it like you get the full dose to your heart. You know, when you get paid, you kind of like feel kind of good you did it, kind of good you got paid. But no, you're right. I mean, ultimately, people should be paid for their labor. And I think that
I was waiting for you to
reaches our strike point as well.
Strike point? Cool. Strike. Yeah, we got there. We figured it out. I'm so excited to bring up our fabulous next storyteller, our next and last storyteller. She's the host of The Rehash. Please welcome Tooky Kavanagh.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, Tooky. It's great to have you.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you both. Thank you both for having me.
Of course.
It's awesome to be with our 2MB peers.
Yay.
Those freaking hexagons on your wall.
It's art. Hi. Talk with Tori. Hi, everybody. # verify Tooky. Thank you. Love you.
Tooky, how are you? How's your life?
Oh, life is lifing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little, I don't know. I felt like being a little glamorous today. So I've got the fish earring.
Delicious.
Little goldfish.
Les poissons. Love it.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Rehash, because I see you guys post a lot. You have a great online presence as a show.
Yeah, it's don't miss out. We talk about okay, so Lloyd is cussing me out in the chat. Love you, Lloyd. And because it was your birthday, I'll accept this time. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. The Rehash is a talk show I co-host with David. His name is a palindrome now. And every Friday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern live. But if you if you're not about that life, you always catch the replay on YouTube. And we go over really interesting things. Lately, we've been trying to figure out why my Facebook targeted ads are choosing violence, and we watch a bad movie through which we learn a lesson every week. Yeah, and we bring on really great guests. David, hush, and. We bring on really, really great guests. Just this past Friday, we had on Mike Kaplan, and we
just had him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Awesome person and fantastic comedian. So we bring in like a lot of cool people to come in and hang, and play some fun games. So definitely tune in. Don't miss out. It's a good time.
I would just like to say that my Facebook ads are also just too incisive. I get so many ads on Facebook that are like, regular bras are too big for me. I need a bra for a 32 AAA. And I'm like,
that is violence. That's
how
violence.
Do you know? Like,
that's violent. Okay, well, the other day I got a Facebook ad for Croc nuts, like truck nuts, but like little nuts you can put on your Crocs.
Oh, like is that like gibbets? Is that the same thing? What you put into the holes of the Croc?
I don't know, but like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word via Twitch, but I have this running theory that every white woman on Etsy is a domestic pterodactyl, and so they're not all the bad kind. They're not all the bad kind. Like sometimes it's good pterodactyling, right? But every now and then you need to check on Harper to see if she's making a pipe bomb. But but like I get these ads and they're just like chaos. They're chaos. So I think I might have either one of you come on and help me figure out.
Well, if there's anyone I trust to get to the bottom of things, it's you, Tooky, and I'm sure David does something on the show.
David
sure.
Probably.
And so that sounds like a good pick for like the late night tall tale crowd.
Oh yeah,
to do the night before our show. That's your place on Fridays.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, come hang every Friday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on 2MB.
That's freaking prime time.
Mm-hmm. You got plans? Come hang. So what are your plans?
Speaking of good segues, Tooky, do you have a story for us?
I do, and I'm mortified, and like I thank Jesus and Hanukkah Harry for the fact that my parents like don't have social media and know that I do comedy things, because I'm about to get into some like family things. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Shall I start? Shall I begin?
Please.
Cool. So, so most people who know me know that I come from a mixed background. My mom is an immigrant from the Caribbean, and my dad is American, and he's Jewish and Portuguese, though allegedly his mother was passing as a quadroon. But I'm entitled to reparations. It's a whole. Don't worry about it. So anyway, so I have this whole mixed background, and my parents don't like make a thing of it so much. But the year was 1996. I was about 8 years old, and my parents at that time wanted to do something special for themselves because they had been together since the early 80s, and it wasn't like a milestone anniversary year from when they got married, but they had been celebrating what I believe was about 15 years together, either 10 or 15 years together at that point. And so they threw a very lavish, spectacular anniversary party for themselves. My parents rented the limo and the family rode out, and my dad invited all the coworkers and friends and all these things. And they had an anniversary party at the now defunct Spinnaker restaurant, which is atop the Hyatt over the Charles River in Cambridge, Mass. If you're ever familiar, it's those spinning restaurants with the city views. Very nice, very shishi fancy. So yeah, you know what? I did repress this memory, but it was unlocked in therapy. So like shout out to my therapist. So, you know, and you're all benefiting from this. So we get there and see, here's the thing. My mom is still is a really big Whitney Houston fan. And their anniversary party was themed to The Bodyguard, the 1992 film starring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Right? It was a whole thing. My mom dressed up as a pop diva. Oh, Houston. My father dressed up as a security man. And this is the part where this had to be a repressed memory for me. I had to block this out my memory because my dad had set it up with the restaurant to be like in cahoots with the waiter, so that instead of coming out with a cake to celebrate the anniversary, my dad set it up so that the waiter would be acting, and he came out and he rushed my mom to strike her. And my dad came out and defended my mom like a bodyguard. And she sang "I Will Always Love You" afterwards. And yeah, I'm not okay, if you're wondering. Yeah, that's
Tooky, I'm dead. Like the theme alone, but the fact that was the theme and that the acting on the waiter's part was like threatening, like being physically threatening was his role.
Yeah. I want to know, how did your mother react to this? Is she okay?
She's great. She's thriving. Her edges are flourished. It's fine. Like she's fine. She wasn't quite in on it. Like she knew there was a surprise coming out, but you know, she wasn't in on that part. But before she could like island woman karate chop him, Dad intervened to save the day, you know, like her bodyguard.
I guess that's like kind of romantic if you don't read too much into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the timing that allowed her to not strike him.
Did they speed up the spinning to make it more intense?
They did not. Not that I recall.
That's the hotel. That's on the water, right?
It is. Yeah, right on the river.
Does it kind of look like a pyramid a little bit, or like a Maya pyramid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is it's like it looks like steps. It looks like a Maya.
Oh, I know that place.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
cool, very fancy.
So that is my childhood. It was rough.
Wow.
Were you also dressed up? Like, did you have to dress up in some sort of?
You know, I was dressed up in probably some frilly dress that they bought me, and I'm very grateful for the fact that social media didn't exist when I was a child, because whenever my aunties or my grandmother would do my hair, it would be in like 1,000 doodoo braids with barrettes at the end. Like they would click clack and you could hear me coming 30 feet away like Predator. Like it was. So I think I hid those photos of myself.
Sound like that'd be a good system for the waiter too, just so your dad would be ready to know he's coming.
That man made a call. Like he made a call to some staff.
He took a risk.
I mean, who on this wait staff has acting experience? That's a question you might like the answer to.
I do have more questions than answers, but it's best that they remain unanswered for my sanity and my co-pays.
Well, Tooky, you'll absolutely have to come back on for your parents' next big golden anniversary, because I can only imagine, they'll have like a whole sinking Titanic or whatever.
Think about it. Oh my God.
But before that happens, I would like to sort of metaphorically speed up the spinning of the story hotel restaurant type deal. So could you please choose the number 1 for us?
Okay, that's it. I guess, I'm going to choose 1.
Oh, that's great. Let's put freaking 10 seconds on the clock.
10 seconds.
10 seconds for your parents' best anniversary.
Okay, I'm going to give myself a countdown. All right. 3, 2, 1. It was the 90s. My parents are wild and interracial. They threw a bodyguard themed anniversary party for themselves and traumatized the shit out of me. The end.
Awesome. Amazing. That sounds like a great time. I have no complaints. I'm sorry you were traumatized.
It's okay. I'm working through it.
Well, Tooky, do you have anything else you want to plug before we send you on your way?
Sure thing. So aside from the Rehash every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dave Rabinow, or Facebook Live if you're nasty. I co-host the Norm, the Cheers podcast, where we break down every episode of Cheers. We just finished with season 1. We're starting season 2, episode 1 next week. And also on Sundays, this white guy that lives in my house who I kind of love or whatever, he is now forcing me to color commentary during our Twitch streams, 4 p.m. on Sundays, twitch.tv/Treysanets. I'll probably tweet it. There's Twitter and Instagram. Okay.
Awesome. Also follow Tooky on Twitter. Her Twitter is very funny, and I often like her tweets 3 seconds after she sends them because I have no self-control. And so Tooky, thank you so much for being here. Have a great night.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Tooky.
Bye.
Awesome to have you.
I'm so glad all of these people have their own shows to run. They're like, like your friends who would be really great parents. They have their own.
Like when she was just talking about the Cheers podcast, all I could think was this was the show where everybody knew our name. We were able to just know the stories are going to be fantastic.
We're in Boston, some of us. That counts as Cheers, I think.
Could be. Cheers to that, right?
Cheers to that. Bella, do you have anything else you want to say before we go to sleep?
Why, thank you for offering. I do. Happy birthday to Billy, my friend, if you guys are watching. And catch my wrestler Zaza Harvest coming.
Oh, yes.
Quarantine Action Wrestling on not this Thursday, but the 18th. Making the debut, joining the roster. Fans, meet me there. Anything to add, Nora?
No, just be safe and make good choices to everybody.
As many as both as you can.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thanks, guys. See you next month.
Oh, yeah.